In this video, I'll be showing you how to clean out your throttle body. Hello guys, thanks once again for being here. Today we're going to clean the throttle body on this Ford Focus Mk1. The reasons you'll want to do this job is if you have a poor idle or if your car is running rough. If your car is a few years old like this Focus, chances are that the throttle body is gunked up with carbon deposits from years of driving. So this is just good preventative maintenance to make sure that your car is running tip-top and your gas mileage isn't being affected, as well as your performance. And the big positive is that this is a super easy job to do. I'm going to show you every step needed to do this in a second, but just before we start, please take the time to subscribe to this channel and feel free to check out my other how-to DIY car videos if you like. Alright, so let's get started. You're going to need some basic tools, and they are a torque wrench for tightening everything down, a ratchet and some extensions, a T30 socket and a 6mm socket, a 10mm spanner, a couple of small flat blade screwdrivers, a small brush or old toothbrush for cleaning parts, a couple of cable ties and a pair of pliers, contact cleaner spray, and some paper towels or rags. Alright, let's do this. So the first step is to unhook the battery. There are some electrical sensors around the throttle body, so this is just a good precaution. Then it's time to take the airbox off the car. Grab your 6mm socket and unwind the clip holding the airbox to the throttle body. Then, with the help of your flat blade screwdriver, unclip the mass airflow sensor wiring. Finally, undo the breather hose going into your airbox, and the whole airbox assembly will lift right out. With that out of the way, you can stare straight down the throttle body plate to the butterfly valve, and this is when you'll be able to see how clean or dirty your throttle body is. Mine isn't too bad, but it could definitely do with a clean. We're going to remove the throttle body now, and the first step in doing that is to detach your throttle cable. Grab some needle nose pliers and pull out the clip holding the throttle cable onto the throttle body. Then, being very careful not to damage the rubber grommet, pull the throttle cable off the throttle body. Now detach the sensor on the other side of the throttle body, take your T30 socket and unscrew the 4 bolts holding the throttle body in. Once you have those undone, you're free to remove the throttle body. Oh, after you pull out the throttle body cable, of course. Stop anything from falling into your intake manifold by covering up the opening with some paper towel. Now take a closer look at your throttle body. I thought mine was okay, but just look at the carbon buildup on the other side. So it's high time this was cleaned. So find yourself a clean space to work in, and it's time to get busy cleaning. The first thing to do is remove the gasket found on the back of the throttle body. While you're at it, inspect the gasket and make sure that it's in good condition. It's rare that these need replacing, as they aren't under a lot of torque or subject to a lot of heat, but if you find that your gasket is brittle or flush with the mounting surface, it's a good idea to replace this. Mine is okay, and like I said, it's rare that these need changing, so I'll be reusing mine. Now, it's common to jump to a throttle body cleaner when doing this job, but they are usually designed to clean and treat metal throttle bodies. But if you have a throttle body like this Focus has, with a plastic butterfly plate and electrics going into the throttle body, you are actually best off using contact cleaner. The reason you'll want to use this instead is that this solution has been designed to be safe on electric components. Plus, the butterfly plate on these plastic throttle bodies has been coated. With a contact cleaner, you have a better chance of keeping that coating intact. So remember, on a plastic throttle body, use contact cleaner. Okay, so grab an old toothbrush or a small brush, plus some paper towel or some rags, and let's get going. I like to start on the back side or the dirtier side of the throttle body and work my way forward. So go ahead and spray your cleaner on the plate liberally and start brushing away the dirt. Turn to the other side and do the same. As you're agitating the carbon buildup, you might develop these pools of dirt, so this is where you'll use your paper towel or rags to wipe away the solution. Also, don't forget about opening up the butterfly plate to clean the edges of the plate. If anything, this is the most important area to get clean. And to help keep the plate open while you're in there, take a couple of small cable ties and tie the butterfly plate open. This way you won't have to constantly hold it open as you're concentrating on cleaning out all those tight areas. I found that a great way to get into all the nooks and crannies is to use a small flat blade screwdriver and apply a paper towel over it to protect the throttle body from any scoring. Once you're done with that, go ahead and give the rest of the throttle body a good once over as well, just to make sure everything is nice and clean. Then cut off the cable ties and your throttle body should look a lot better. Just take a look at the difference. With that done, go ahead and reattach your rubber gasket, and then it's time to head back over to the car. Okay, before we put the throttle body back on, take a moment to wipe out the intake manifold opening as well. As you can see, there is plenty of carbon buildup in there, so why not give this a quick wipe too while the throttle body is off. Once that opening is nice and clean, let's put the throttle body back on and snug down the 4 bolts. Now, it's really not necessary to torque these bolts down, but I like to put a consistent pressure across all 4 bolts, so I go over each bolt with a torque wrench set at 10 Newton meters, just to make sure each corner of this plastic housing has the same amount of pressure across the entire surface. But really, this throttle body gasket just needs to be snugged down for a good seal. Now that your throttle body is back on, just do a quick check to make sure that nothing has fallen into your throttle body, and go ahead and reconnect everything, starting with your throttle position sensor. Then thread the cable through and reconnect it to its mounting bracket, and reattach the connecting ring on the cable to its mounting point on the throttle body, paying careful attention to the rubber grommet. And then put the retaining clip back in and the throttle cable should be back on. Finally, go ahead and put your air intake assembly back on by reattaching your breather hose, plugging the mass airflow sensor back in, and retightening up the air intake hose clamp. Reattach your battery terminal, and that's it, you are done. To check that everything is working well, head into the car and turn your key to the accessories marker. This is position number 2. Do not start your car just yet. Remember that your battery has been disconnected, so give all the systems a few seconds to initialize, then go ahead and start your car. Check your idle, and yep, everything is looking A-OK here. We have a nice smooth idle that isn't too high in the rev range and is slowly dropping down to normal as the engine heats up. Job done. I hope you like what you saw, and more importantly, like me, I hope you've learned something new today. If you agree, please let me know by giving this video a like. Did I miss something? Do you have anything to add? Feel free to leave a comment below. I always welcome constructive feedback. And if you'd like to see more content from the channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you'll know when I post up something new. Now enough chit chat, go ahead and try this yourself on your car.